Welcome to the SEO Lounge. Actually, welcome to the first ever SEO Lounge. I'm Morty from Rank Ranger.
I'm Joe.
From Rank Ranger. Together we are Rank Ranger, part of
Some
Rank
of
Ranger.
them.
We're some of the people from Rank Ranger. And in the SEO Lounge, we're going to discuss some topics and some common topics, some pretty popular topics. Yeah, and the misconceptions we have about these popular topics. Today we're going to discuss competition analysis and two myths about competition analysis. Let's just get right to it, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, fine. So, first myth. You want to take it?
You start and I'll
Okay. He's such a nice guy. The first myth is all I need is data. More data, good quality data, but as long as I have enough data, I can outsmart the competition.
But that is not the case, though.
No, it's not the case because I don't even know what outsmarting the competition actually means. Do you?
Not entirely to be better, but
Well, that's really the myth. That's really the preconceived notion is that we can outsmart the competition. It's sort of become like a slogan that people use to get you to buy something, but it doesn't really have any teeth to it. So the first thing we're going to look at is strategic data. It's data, competitive data, where you can actually look at your competition's strategy and get inside of their heads a little bit. And there's a lot of reports out there, a lot of tools out there, a lot of whatever out there that does this. It gets you inside of your competition's head so you can sort of see their strategy. But the first problem that people have with this, or the first mistake that people tend to make, no fault of their own, is, well, if I have the competition strategy, I can just
do what they're doing.
And outsmart them.
But that's not the solution, though.
No, it's not the solution. You can't really just outsmart your competition I'll do some magical maneuver and get ahead of them one day because the next day
they're going to be ahead of you.
Right. Do you really think you're the only one out there with some sort of competitive tool looking at competitive analysis, blah, 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 blah? Of course not. Everyone has it. So one day you'll outsmart them.
And the next day they're going to do the same with you.
And it becomes a vicious cycle. So how do we get out of this vicious cycle?
That we actually have to look at ourselves. Instead of just looking at the competitors, what they are up to, what they are doing, what they optimize, we must look at them and take some of these elements and apply it to ourselves. Because the only way for us actually to get ahead of the competition is to optimize ourselves.
I like that. Optimizers, it's like a slogan. You can
It
use
is,
it, right?
eh? Because that's what it's all about.
But what Joe's trying to say, what I think you're trying to say, you correct me if I'm wrong, is that, look, you can't really outsmart the competition. What you can do, what you should do when you have insight into your competition strategy is learn from it. The goal is not to outsmart your competition. The goal is to become better at what you do.
Take advantage of your knowledge about them.
That's a great way to say it. Is to take advantage of the knowledge that you have about what they're doing. Learn from them. It's not to outsmart your competition. It's to learn from your competition so that you can be a better digital marketer, better SEO, whatever it is that you do, you can just do it better. And it also means that it's long term. It's not like tomorrow I've outranked them or I've outdone them, I've out whatever them. It's that I've become better at what I do now. And that's a long-term solution.
And it's better to be behind for a while until you eventually pass by them. Stay there.
For good. Hopefully, right?
Yeah, that's the plan.
That's the plan. Right? So let's look at point number 2. So we have strategic data. Great. There's also another kind of data where you're tracking your competitor's progress. Like think about rank for a second, right? I can track who's ranking ahead on what keyword. Am I ranking ahead? Am my competitor ranking ahead? You're not really getting into what they're doing so much as you're tracking their progress or your progress relative to their progress, right? And there's a big mistake people make with this kind of data, and that's, well, if I'm ranking below a certain competitor, it must be
that he's better than I am, and that he's doing things that I'm not doing, and that his technical SEO is better than mine.
You say technical SEO is better than yours? It could be, and that's our first reaction, that if there's a problem, it's always a technical solution. If my competitor's doing better than me over here, well, there's some sort of technical thing I can do better. In the case of SEO, it's, optimizing a title or the keywords or whatever it is. Or his H2 is better than my H2 here, so therefore he's ranking better than me, right?
But SEO is so much more than just technical these days. It involves so many departments and so many elements, and that's what people oftentimes are missing, that if my competitor is doing way better than me on certain keywords, it doesn't mean that my technical optimization with these specific keywords are the lacking element.
Agreed.
And that's where I would like your inputs, what should be done in order to actually boost yourself.
Well, I'm going to put some words in your mouth because I'm just going to basically take...
That's okay, do that.
Okay. I'm just going to take what you're saying and go one step further. Yeah, it could be your technical, SEO is not jiving. But let's think about it for a second, right? Most people, anyone who's anyone, you're thinking about your SEO from time to time, correct? You know you need to optimize your H2s, you know you need to have your keywords in there, you know you need to have your meta description up to par, right? If it's between a solution that you're constantly thinking about, that you're constantly trying to worry about, that you're constantly trying to make better, versus a problem that you're not really thinking about at all, I would think it's the problem you're not thinking about at all, right?
Because
it's a rhetorical question.
yeah, but I believe that oftentimes, let's say it's technical, then you can see the issue. You can see that your title isn't good.
Right.
But in most cases, you might not be able to actually see the issue, because the issue could be a combination of many elements. It could be within your team. It could be even within management. It could be within your social team that they aren't pushing your content. It could be anything within the marketing. It doesn't even have to be within the actual SEO department.
That's
and
interesting.
That's what people might miss.
That's actually interesting in reality, because what you're saying is that, yeah, it could be a technical problem, right? It could be I didn't optimize my title, but most likely not. That's something that we're pretty much on top on usually. But it's like a red herring. It distracts us from the real problem. The real problem could be, a lot of the times, what we're really not worried about, which is, how's my brand doing? How's my authority? And authority is a big deal, because Google now, because of all the whole fake news problems, is saying that we're going to rank sites with higher authority above sites with lower authority. So these more global issues are a real problem, and sometimes we don't really worry about them. We don't really worry about, is my brand and awareness up to par? Am I as authoritative as I could be? And what you just said, you don't really look in the mirror and look at yourself. And that's a problem, because we don't really want to do that, because that could be painful. It could be, you wake up in the morning, you look in the mirror and say, you know the reason why I'm not ranking as above, so-and-so? It's because I'm just not managing my team well. We could have the best SEO. We could have the best brand. We could be the most authoritative, whatever, but we're not executing properly. We're not working cohesively, efficiently for the best, and it could be as simple as that. But if you're so wrapped up in your technical SEO or your technical problems, you'll never ask that. And you won't ask that because it's painful sometimes to actually deal with that and make things better. It's much easier to go, hey, you know what? I want you to fix the SEO on this, versus going in and saying, guys, we got to get this together, and I need to be a better manager, a better whatever, so we can get it all together, right?
Good point.
It's a good point, right? Yeah. I guess the last point we want to make is think long term. Think about yourself. Look at yourself, right? Think how you can learn. Think how you can grow. Think how you can do things better just outside of technical issues. But mainly go with your gut, right?
Go with your gut, and keep in mind that the issue might be closer to yourself than you would have thought initially.
Right, because you really, at the end of the day, know how you're performing. I mean, the data could say one thing. The data could tell you X, Y, and Z. But if you know in your gut that things just, something might be off here. I really want to go a different way. I really know the problem. You really know the problem. You don't have to always go with the technical data. You could say, you know what, the data says one thing. But the data is really a small picture within a much larger picture that you and only you are aware of. And it starts with you, and it ends with you, and we'll end here, I guess.
Yes.
So until next time, well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoy the SEO Lounge. And
our company.
yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.